Hello and welcome to Get Astrologic Now. I'm Victoria Ballou-Schaefer here with Joni Patry as usual, and she's our world famous Vedic astrologer. And this episode we're going to talk about some potential Academy Award winners. You have a fabulous lineup of very talented actors.
Yes, and with that we'll start with the lady, Jennifer Lawrence. Let me go over her birth information. We have Jennifer born August 15th, 1990 at 8:17 p.m. in Louisville, Kentucky. And she has just the most amazing chart. It's a no wonder she's been so successful and will continue to be. She has Capricorn rising, and of course Capricorns are very ambitious and go-getters, and she has Rahu, the north node of the moon, which is the indicator of destiny and fame and fortune, on her ascendant. And with this throws the Ketu into the 7th house, where she has Ketu, Sun, Venus, and Jupiter. This is a powerful combination of planets in an angle, but the most important planet in her chart happens to be Jupiter, because it is in Cancer, which is its exaltation sign. But not only does she just have Jupiter in Cancer, she has it at the exact degree of exaltation. Out of the entire zodiac of 360 degrees, she has Jupiter, which is the planet of prosperity, wealth, and opportunities and freedom on the exact degree, 5 degrees of Cancer, exalted. So this is the most powerful position for this planet, so it's going to bring her all sorts of success. Now, I notice that Jupiter rules her 3rd house, which is the house of talent, creativity, and her Jupiter is with Venus, which rules her 5th house, which is the house of creativity and self-expression and acting and drama and display. So she has both planets that deal with creative talents together, and her Jupiter is exalted. This is just amazing to me. And another thing that I find that gets her really well known is her Mercury, which is in her 8th house, that creates her ability to attract and to be sexually magnetic and charismatic. And her Mercury, by the way, is the only planet that prospers and does well in the 8th house. And it gives a great deal of intelligence and ability to dive into matters and research matters and get to the bottom of things, especially with researching projects. So she's got a great deal of depth and talent and opportunities and success. She has great karma. Now, she does have the Jupiter being exalted with Ketu being in the 7th house can bring great things. She will marry someone of great power and probably quite a teacher in spiritual, very much part of a spiritual development that her partner will have. Now, she also has Mars in Aries, which gives her great drive and ambition. And it's in the 4th house, which can cause a little disruption at times on the home front, but it is aspecting her career house, another indication of career success. The only planet that I could say could cause some of a problem in her chart would be Saturn, because it is in the 8th house, but it is the ruler, it's in the 12th house, which is the house of being behind the scenes and secrets. But it can also deal with foreigners in foreign countries. So I think she's famous not only in the United States, but all over the world. So with that, I wanted to look at where is she going to be going in the very near future. Well, first of all, Jupiter, which has been on her natal moon is in Gemini, it's in the 6th house. She works really hard. She's always determined and focused in her work with the moon in the 6th, and also she's very much a part of health and healing. But transiting Jupiter has crossed over her moon early about last summer. So she's coming into her own. She's feeling stronger and she's working hard. But come next June, about June 18th, Jupiter will go into Cancer. It will remain there for about a year, so from summer of 2014 through the summer of 2015. She's going to reach a pinnacle of success that she has not reached before, and that's hard to imagine since she's already been so successful. So that success will come, and I think she's got many things to come before that even, will be when Jupiter conjuncts Jupiter, which will be July 15th of 2014. This does indicate success, but another thing that I can predict for her is happiness in relationships. I could say that she will find personal fulfillment through her relationships and love. So this is a time of commitment, love, and it can be even from somebody from the past or someone that is extraordinarily powerful, because we have Jupiter, which is going to transit her house of serious relationship and marriage. So she will become very united and connected, and possibly even be looking at marriage, although she is certainly very young. Another thing I wanted to talk about is her dasha sequence, because she is in her Jupiter Mahadasha, and that actually started the very end of 2011. And actually her breakthrough was really her breakthrough to success was between 2010 and 2012. So she is really on a great career expansion where she is going to have more success than she already has, which is amazing. One little drawback between now, we're talking February, March, April, particularly April, there could be some personal and family problems, looking at the fact that Saturn will oppose her Mars in the 4th house. So there could be some problems for her family, for her parents, or something from the past that there's some difficulty. And it could also represent that she's moving away, or there's a change of residence that will be a bit difficult, and I think she's going to feel, a bit lonely and isolated from before. But to consider that she's in her Jupiter cycle, and Jupiter's going to come across her natal Jupiter for a Jupiter return at its highest, most powerful point, could be an indication that we've got another winner coming up. Yes, because she's got some amazing things that are transpiring right now in her chart. She's very, very lucky. And now I want to look at Matthew McConaughey. And his birthday is November 4th, 1969 at 7:34 p.m. in Uvalde, Texas. And I got to say, Matthew, he lives in Austin, which we are currently filming here in Austin, Texas, so I feel like I know him. As a matter of fact, he went to UT, my alma mater, University of Texas, and he even stayed in the Castilian across from, he had that in his biography, where I stayed when I went to college. So we've got a little bit here in common, but my goodness, is he ever on the road to success now? He's got Rahu natally in the 10th house, which is, whenever you have Rahu in the 10th house, this represents career success. And whenever you go into that cycle, that's when this comes into fruition. So Rahu, which represents fame, fortune, material gains in the 10th house, well, let's see, what Mahadasha is he currently in? Well, it just happens to be Rahu. So here is his rise to fame and fortune, which he started this dasha in the year of 2003 when he was 33. And he will continue to be in this 18-year cycle till the year of 2021, till he is a little over 51 years old. So he is right in the prime time of his life, right in the best cycle that is possible for career wins and opportunities and success. Now, I'm seeing that Saturn and Rahu are in his 6th house transiting right now, so they are crossing over his sun, so he's working really hard. There's a lot of, there has been some struggles because it has been hard work. This is the 6th house of struggles and work. And so he has really just been focused into attaining his goals. Now, Matthew has Jupiter and Venus in his 5th house, which is the house of creative expression. He has his moon in Leo in the 4th house. It's in the nakshatra Purva Falguni, which is one of the most expressive nakshatras for creativity and acting. And we noticed that Madonna had her moon there in Purva Falguni. And it is with Ketu in his chart. He is quite a mystic. He is very spiritual. He does have to have meaning and purpose, and he is very, very open-hearted with this moon in Leo with Ketu. Ketu means where there is something always missing. It's in his 4th house. So he always feels like he needs to get home. He needs to have a home, to have family, to have that connection to his roots and his past. This is something that he's always, always striving for. His Mars is exalted in the sign of Capricorn in the 9th house, which means he is driven on a spiritual level. And I noticed also that Jupiter, which is conjunct Venus within a degree, is aspecting Mars, which makes him have more drive, ambition, and a desire to travel and experience many, many cultures throughout his life. I also noticed, this is what's wonderful about his chart, is that he has Venus at 29 degrees of Virgo, and his Jupiter is 28 degrees of Virgo. They are in the nakshatra Chitra, which is the bright shining one. It's the gem that shines. And it depicts people that are in the entertainment business that stand out in a crowd and attract people. And I have to say they are at the exact degree of the fixed star Spica, which is the star of luck. Fortune deals with literary abilities. It deals with creativity. It deals with musical ability. And here he's got these both these planets, Jupiter and Venus, in the 5th house of creativity and self-expression. And not to mention a moon in Leo, this guy has to express himself. He has to be into acting. He has to be on stage. He has to be creating in a powerful way. And he will always, always be in the limelight with his creative and acting skills. Jupiter is in his 2nd house transiting right now, which is aspecting his sun, giving him a sense of self-esteem and power. And I want to say that he is really, really a strong contender in achieving this ultimate goal. As a matter of fact, Jupiter is almost exactly aspecting Rahu, which is in his 10th house of career and success and fame. So around the time of the Academy Awards, it's very close to the time that Jupiter's aspect is to Rahu. So I'm going to say he's one of the top contenders, and I could say he's going to feel like he has great success and great opportunities. And I think we're looking at a win here. I'm thinking really strongly a win. But then I see other contenders that charts look just as strong, so it's a toss-up. But this is a year that I feel like he feels he's accomplished great things, and he's very proud of his accomplishments and his success. And one more thing, it's coming up into the next year. He and his wife their relationship gets closer and better within the 2014 and 15. So I get that he's really a family guy, and really all he really wants is to be more connected with home and family, which I think in the next 2 years he'll be able to accomplish and do. And now I want to look at Leonardo Dicaprio. And Leonardo was born November 11th, 1974 at 2:47 a.m. in Los Angeles, California. Leonardo didn't have as easy of a start in this world because he had his family was broken. I believe his mother, cared for him. One thing I didn't know about him that I think is fascinating, though, is his grandparents were German, and he speaks fluent German. So I didn't think that sounded like much of a German name, Dicaprio, but his mother once said that when they were looking at Leonardo's, the beautiful painting in Paris, that he kicked when they were looking at the painting, and that's why she named him Leonardo. But there is Italian influence here. I think his father was half Italian. So anyway, let's get on with what's happening to Leonardo. He has an amazing chart for career success, and particularly his chart reads enormous money and wealth. He has got some great yogas in his chart that talk about wealth and money. He has got Uranus, Mercury, Mars, Sun, and Venus, and I might mention Venus is in its own sign of Libra in the second house of wealth and money. It's an amazing, amazing chart for this. And I might say that this is actually what we call a Lakshmi yoga, when you have Venus in its own sign and it's strong and it's aspected with the ruler of the first, and it is the ruler of the ninth as well. So Lakshmi yoga always represents massive wealth, and he has this in his chart. He has Rahu in the third house meaning the house of creativity, and definitely some kind of skill, art, and talent, because we have Rahu exactly conjunct Neptune, and this represents some kind of skill or art or talent. And this is with his communication skills and with his voice, his speaking skills, and he's highly, highly intelligent by the fact that he has Mars with the Sun and with Venus and Uranus and Mercury. I mean, Mercury-Uranus is sort of like an inventor. He's got this creative potential to invent and think things up. And I think the direction that Leonardo's definitely going is going to be into producing, creating, and writing movies, because he is a creative genius. So Spielberg better look out, because he's going to have competition here. And his moon is in Virgo in the first house, so he's very scrutinizing into detail, and he has to do things perfect and has to do things right. I think sometimes he may be a little over the top as being too perfect, but you know, as long as you've got the time, there's nothing wrong with that. So Jupiter in the sixth house, he's a hard worker, and his Jupiter, his natal Jupiter, is in a grand trine. It aspects all of those second house planets, and all of those second house planets represent wealth and money and a voice. And as Jupiter casts its trine to all of those planets, this is really, it takes it up a notch as to his success with career and his financial gains. And Saturn is the planet that is in his career house. So he has always worked hard. He has always been diligent, and always, because of his discipline, he is a success. So I think that he's really dedicated his whole life to his work. And just looking at his dasha sequence, where Leonardo is headed, he's in the Jupiter Mahadasha, which Jupiter represents his hard work, being in the sixth house. But there's Saturn. He's going to go into Saturn's Mahadasha, which is going to happen in September of 2016. Now, this is a long cycle. It's 19 years, and he's just going to complete his Jupiter cycle. And the best thing is that currently, as we speak, Jupiter is transiting his career house. It's in the 10th house. And this is like where you rise to the top of your career. And Jupiter is aspecting transiting Jupiter, that is aspecting all of his second house planets: Uranus, Mercury, Mars, Sun, and Venus. And so based on this, with Jupiter, it's going to cross over his natal Saturn. It's going to aspect almost every planet in his chart, aside from his moon in Rahu. I think he's probably probably got the strongest chart for a win here. But it's really hard because everyone else is, I guess if you come to the point where you're nominated for an Academy Award, your chart's going to show great success. One more thing, he does have that nakshatra Chitra very strong, which represents the star, and his Uranus and his Mercury are in Chitra, 5 and 6 degrees Libra. So they're not exactly on the fixed star spica, but boy, this combination gives incredible rise for fame, fortune, luck, and wealth at the top degree. So I could say with transiting Jupiter in his career house, aspecting all of his second house planets, trining his natal Jupiter, it's aspecting Mercury, ruler of the 10th house, and he's approaching his Saturn cycle, which I will predict that in 2016, for those years to come, his 19-year cycle of Saturn, he will really rise to the occasion of film producing. But I could say it looks like he's going to win too, so I'm really kind of up in the air, but I would have to say maybe his is a little bit stronger with Jupiter in his career house right now. So that is my Hollywood moments and how I predict where these fantastic, amazing stars will be headed.
That was awesome. Let me wrap it up. Thanks so much, Joni. I can't wait for the Academy Awards. I'll be right there in front of the television. If you would like some more information about Joni's predictions and how to get in on some very personal predictions yourself by Miss Joni Patry, then go to our website, getastrologicnow.com, and you'll find all the information plus lots of other ways to learn what's coming up in 2014. Thank you very much for joining us.